Caregiving is lonely, but you're not alone. The minute you understand that in your mind, you feel connected with others around you. You have to learn how to take care of yourself before you care for others. What are some of the top activities that you do to take care of yourself at the moment? Every morning, today I have a very special guest. Her name is Yoana Bianconi. She is a caregiver's caregiver. She is a coach for all of the people out there that are caring for family members, for people with special needs. She is an author. She's a mother of a 33-year-old that she's been caring for all her life. She's also cared for her father, and her story is mind-blowing. So if you are in that situation, if you are in a situation where you are drowning in sorrow, maybe you are taking care of your husband, of your parents, of a child with special needs, and you don't feel like you're giving yourself the space, the compassion, the kindness, the love that you need in order to fill that cup with joy, in order to then be able to care for them better and longer, please listen to this episode. Thank you for being here. And if you're a new subscriber, if you haven't listened to this show before, I welcome you into my world, the world of empowering women every day to be themselves, to be authentic, to become powerful and strong and aligned with who they really are within. Let's get into interviewing Yoana Bianconi. Hi, Yoana. Thank you. I am so excited to be here today. I am so excited to be here with you as well. Who are you? Tell me a little bit about yourself. So, thank you for the introduction. Yes, as you said, I'm Yoana. I like to be referred as my first name. I actually am an immigrant in the United States. I actually moved here from the Dominican Republic in the late 80s and established actually in New York City. Shortly after, I got married and moved to New England, Massachusetts. This is where I started with my studies in English and also my bachelor's degree. I also got married and had a child who happened to be born with special needs. So I have a daughter, her name is Vilavi, who is 33 years old. And this is how actually my story began, not only in this country, but as I usually call it my blessing. My daughter was born with a craniofacial disorder. It's called Cruzon syndrome. And basically, simply what it is a malformation of the bones on her cranium and face. So as soon as she was born, I knew that I was up to a big challenge. I wasn't only her mother, I became her caregiver. Vilavi went through a series of reconstructions, surgeries, both on her cranium and face. And I think we have account for more than around 30 plus surgeries. So as you imagine, this also means not just caring for her at home, and basically mostly spending a lot of time between the hospital and home. Vilavi went to school, and I made sure Vilavi had all the support she needed, starting from special education all the way through college. Vilavi, I made sure she actually had a college degree. My daughter is a graphic designer. Living independently, we live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it's just in a short summary. I've been a caregiver for her for more than 3 decades. And our mom, her best friend, due to her medical history, Vilavi developed a more of a social anxiety condition, and this is mostly, her biggest struggles right now. As you know, Joanna, sometimes not just in this country, but if you ever look a little different than what we call the norm, it's really impactful, and this is I think this is why I'm here. I realized at one point that it was up to me to educate people about just being compassionate and really what anybody, just to put yourself in the other person's shoe. My daughter has been suffering from anxiety, and she actually, because she's so smart, and she realized early on in school, when she was in primary school, that people were looking at her, the way people were staring at her, the way people treated her, because she looked different. People didn't take time to actually look at the person, her beautiful soul, her beautiful heart. They just, they were just stuck on her appearance. So that's why I became her first advocate. So I fought for her in every aspect you can imagine. As Vilavi was growing, so I did. It was so much. It's been a beautiful journey, and I created all to Vilavi. I mean, it was something that I think someone knew what they were doing when they put us together on this earth. Yes. So, just thinking where we are right now, Vilavi living independently, and I thinking between 2017 and 2021, life threw another challenge at me. I became the caregiver for my father, who was suffering from vascular dementia. So, of course, I had the experience, but I can tell you, in millions, there's about 53 million caregivers only in United States, Yoana. So this is not just my testimony, and any other all those caregivers can tell you. It is very challenging. So just imagine, I had my daughter, which, she was in her way to becoming independent fully. But then I realized I have another challenge that I had to really, step up to. So, I did all the things that there was no time to say, to question or to say, now what? It was time to really, do the things I needed to do to make sure he had a quality of life, and he was comfortable, and that he stayed home. And I did. In 2021, I transferred his care to my siblings, and he's doing well. And that is when I decided that since I was getting a little break after many, many, many decades, I really needed to tell my story. And then I decided that the best way to do it was writing it, putting it in writing. So that's when I decided to write a book. So I wrote a book, and it's interesting because everyone that knows me, Joanna, my close friends and family, they thought actually I was writing Vilavi's story. No, in fact, I actually decided, because my own experience, that the priority was to write something to help other caregivers take care of themselves. My book actually focuses on self-care for the caregiver. This is something that nobody teaches.
I just told you my story. I was a young mother. I was 24 when my daughter was born. And, what I remember is, here's your sick baby. Good luck, sort of. You just take that on because it's your baby, and there's that need as a mother, the parents, the instinct that you need to care and protect that baby. But there was not an infrastructure in place to say, here's a support group where you can go and speak with other mothers and living the same experience. There was nothing. Through the years, I remember, and I actually explained that on the book. All I had available was counseling, therapy, which is there was nothing wrong with that. I did it every time I felt I needed it, but it's still, there was something missing there. There's nothing more validating than actually speaking to another person that can mirror your experience. And that only happens, in my case, with another caregiver. So I decided, what about writing something? There's a lot of literature out there that actually describe, everything that, how to be a good caregiver, how to care for a loved one with a specific medical condition or dementia, you name it. But there's not much about what about, taking care of yourself as a caregiver. And that's what I did.
Yeah, yeah. I told you I have never heard of anything like this before. And I've learned throughout the years how many people like us, first generation immigrants, come and they settle here, even though all of their families are back home, even though their hearts are breaking. But they settle because this system, thank God, is more prone to offering the support, or you have maybe, as in medically, I'm speaking medically, right, to the child, and they are in awe as to how many opportunities children have in this country, especially children with autism, because in Romania they are looked at in a funky way. If go to a restaurant and the child starts screaming in the middle of the restaurant, everybody's giving them the look because they don't understand, and there's no cultural, maybe it has evolved. I came here in 2005. I was 25. So, but I know for a fact that it's still not there. However, to be the caregiver of the caregiver is brilliant, and I applaud you for that. It is so true that not only, as a mom, but just as a human being, and mostly as a woman, we forget to really care about ourselves, even if we do not have your situation, right? Oftentimes, just, yeah. But my biggest question to you is, and I'm sure that a lot of our listeners would want to know, what was your how was your what was your financial situation, right? So you got married, you had a husband, and do you only have her, or do you have several children?
So thank you. That's a good question. One of the things with that is actually also not talk about more as often as actually it should be, is that caregiving also destroys relationships. So I actually divorced my daughter's father, and although the fact that our daughter was born with special needs wasn't the only reason, it was a big factor. Literally, I felt lonely. I was alone, and ended up divorcing him many, many years ago. And actually, I became a single parent for about 7 years until I met my second husband. And when to answer your question, we are in a position, we're being blessed where I actually was able to stay home. My husband is a widower, so he has 3 children, and I had beloved. So when we got married, it was so I became a stay home mom. Before I moved forward, I wanted to tell you I also became I had my own career. I'm a licensed social worker. One of the things that was actually my biggest tool when it came to advocating for Vilavi. So in a way, I've been doing this. I've been a coach. I've been, a case manager. I've been a friend for many years. Even during my first marriage, I was the breadwinner. I was the one that actually making the money to support my daughter. So it was actually one of those things that today I can say, I feel proud. It you had no idea how difficult it is for a caregiver to also having to work full time outside the house. It's still very challenging. In my book, I explain that with the statistics, how it is it's still a fact right now for many. Out of those 53 millions caregivers I mentioned earlier, okay, 48 are family caregivers, meaning the rest is, yes, paid caregivers, basically. So anytime you hear the oh, I'm a family caregiver, that mostly means I'm home with no income because I am caring for a loved one. But sometimes you had to actually care for that person and also work because you have bills to pay. That is the reality.
So was Vilavi home by herself?
No, so when Bilabi, I before Bilabi started school,
Okay,
around the age, 5-ish or so, I had a babysitter.
got it.
So then, as kids start school, so that actually gave me the time she was in school. I know she was safe. Uh, I had in place what we call individual education plan. That actually, for those mothers with special needs out there, they know what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. It's a plan that you put together with a special ed team at the school here in the United States, where everything is listed: emergency contacts, numbers, doctors, medical treatment. There's everyone is involved. When I say team, I mean nurse, OTs, aides for when she needed it, tutors, you name it. Once Vilabi came home from school, I also had a person waiting for her at home and caring for her until I got home after 5 o'clock. So I did that throughout her schooling years.
Was your husband involved? When did the relationship start to kind of go
So
down?
I got divorced in 2011.
When was Vilavi born?
Bilabi was born in 1990. So she was about 11, 10, 11, yeah.
Got it, got it. So your husband was with you guys till, good portion of her upbringing.
Right.
Okay. And so you only have Vilavi.
Yes.
Like, as in you have other children from your second husband, but they're not your biological children.
Right.
Got it. So, for all of you watching and going through similar situations, I'm definitely going to put the link to the book, so that you can read it, and you can also ask Yocasta any questions you might have. It is, in my opinion, especially, I mean, you were fairly young when you came to the United States, right? So you came with your parents.
Yes.
Yes. Um, the biggest thing for me, and what I love about you and about your presence and about your energy, it's a calming energy. I am hyper usually, and ever since we started talking, you have this beautiful, light, calming energy, and that kind of just comes through. So I feel at ease, I feel at peace, and I love the fact that you, with all of these challenges, have such a beautiful perspective. I often work with my clients in my life coaching practice, and I always say this is kind of like the leitmotif in my practice. You have the opportunity to change your perspective of the past, of the present, of the future, and the people in your life. And a lot of women, I was telling Chris, my beautiful friend and editor, I said, Chris, it's interesting how the more interviews I do and the more I talk to women, it really boils down to them saying that at this point in life, they really did discover that it's all about the attitude. It's all about the journey, enjoying process, and having that positive attitude. I mean, you can have a negative attitude. We all have fears. We all have the struggles. But look at you. Look at you. It's a movie easy. An Oscar-winning movie, could be brought or like built based on your story, based on your book, based on how it is to care consistently for someone else. And that is the highest rank spiritually, because you are serving 100% without expecting anything in return, which is what Jesus did, right? I know Jesus was a very much high vibration human that served and was able to heal and developed that capacity. And to me, that is extraordinary. So I can just say that I'm humbled by you being here, and I'm just
Thank you, Joanna.
be forever grateful, and for the fact that this is going to live past our lives, and people will listen and will understand that stories like that do exist. And so my other question regarding the book and regarding what is your advice to all of the caregivers out there? You've had so many challenges. So maybe in a couple of minutes, what is your advice to all of them? How should they navigate through all of the aspects and challenges in their lives?
I would just say, well, caregiving is something that's, get comes into your life either planned or unexpectedly. Either way, you had to learn the ropes. I call it the map role. Talk to other caregivers. Read about it. And when I say read about it, I don't mean read about the just limiting yourself to the specific condition, or either illness or medical condition, or the loved one you're caring for. I mean, read, educate yourself about how caregiving it is going to impact your life. Once you educate yourself and actually reach out, talk about it. The same way I decided to, this is actually the main reason I decided to share my story. It was sort of like a calling, how they say calling for artists, I am calling for caregivers to, speak up. Usually with caregiving comes a lot of isolation. So that's the first thing, they need to be aware. One of the things I teach is caregiving is lonely, but you're not alone. The minute you understand that in your mind, you feel connected with others around you. And then you begin your journey to, I call it self-preservation. You have to learn how to take care of yourself before you care for others.
So, what do you do? What are some of the top activities that you do to take care of yourself at the moment?
Every morning, I do meditation. I do mindful meditation. This is the first thing I do when I get up.
Do you mind sharing what time do you wake up?
So my husband leaves to work around 7-ish.
Yeah.
So I actually get up about 7:30. I wanted to give him some time to get ready, and then I do meditation. And my meditation is actually 10 minutes, just so people understand this is not something, and actually something that you work you had to learn how to do it. Not everyone knows how to do it, and it's actually not everyone feels comfortable, but it is part of my routine, and it's been very helpful. Mindful meditation. The type of medication I do is they call it intention settling, Yoana. That means every morning when I get up, I set my intentions for the day, whatever it is. But today, I have, like I did that this morning, I had the interview with Yoana, and my intention was for this to flow, for me to stay calm, for us to, feel connected. And here we are, right?
Wow.
Then today I couldn't do it, but I also have a routine where I stretch and exercise. That's every day, Monday through Friday. If I don't have time to do it like today, right, because we were here together, I'll take a walk. Sometime during that time, I already have checked in with my daughter. My daughter lives about 5 minutes from here. When it's something that I do. Good morning, honey. How you doing? What's the plan for today? And then I go on with my day. I come home. The other thing that not too many people know, I also look after exotic birds. So I had them at home, and I had to feed them. I had to make sure they're okay, interact with them. They're sort of like since my husband and I became empty nesters, so to speak, our babies. So, I take care of them, and then I'll go on, with my day. I do the same thing at night also. I meditate again, and I settle my intentions. I just sort of like review have the intentions I set for the day. Were they there? What else I need to do? And doing a lot of mindful meditation helps me with equanimity. It has to do with what you were saying. In terms of staying grounded, and no matter whatever the day life throws at you on a daily basis, if you know how to ground yourself and regulate your emotions, you don't become overwhelmed. We don't get burnout because of our daily task as a caregivers, moms, parents. Sometimes your jobs. Yeah.
It is very important to meditate and to just be able to sit still. And I was listening to Mel Robbins, to her podcast today, and it was amazing to me to see that there are studies now with people being so much on their phones and scrolling on social media, that, can you imagine? I think it's like 4 to 5 hours per day that people are wasting their lives on scrolling. And they were talking about how they had done some tests where they had people just sit and look at a wall for 1 hour, And either they had this cathartic reaction where they started sobbing, or they were just like, like they didn't know what to do with themselves, because people nowadays, without being self-aware, without practicing mindfulness and meditation, are in a consistent state of go. And that, added to the amount of time that is being spent on all of these platforms, it's creating a lack of capacity to be bored. Isn't that interesting? And that is definitely not the case for a caregiver. But it's so interesting that, when you don't have someone to care for, your natural tendency is to be crazily afraid of being bored, because, like, what am I going to do? My brain can't sit still. So in your case and all of the caregivers in this world, you guys don't have time to diggle daggle. There is no such thing as, it's literally like in the old times where people were going, they didn't really have time to sit around when the cow was giving birth. All of the animals in the farm needed to be fed at 5 a.m. They needed to work the land. If they had a little bit of time at hand, they would just sit and, actually rest, give their body and their brain time to rest. In today's world, what you are doing is almost extinct. You're like a dinosaur.
I I
you
I,
know?
I agree. I agree. Yeah, but Joanna, it's very interesting because we are, as human beings, we really need the human connection. We and but the way uh, the way we're living right now is actually, it's like sort of like pulling us apart, apart. And if you're not aware of that, it's very easy to really fall into that trap. One of the things I tell caregivers is, be mindful, uh just even with your own feelings, like when they're feeling lonely, for instance, if they have 5 minutes, reach out to somebody. And I'll do the same, in general. It's like a calling. Please call a caregiver. Leave a message if they're busy and they cannot answer right now. But just listening to that message, you can just say, thinking of you, love, call me when you have a chance. That is a human connection. That it makes such a difference for that caregiver or whoever, um, just to know somebody thought of me, somebody's thinking of me. I'm not alone. And it doesn't take much, but the way we're living right now is sort of like, I don't have time, I'm too busy. There's so many distractions. The same thing with the breathing. Breathing is so important. Breathing helps you stay in the present. And for me, it's so interesting. It's so important. Joanna, when I miss something, I worry. I feel like, oh my God, because that second or minute is not coming back. I missed that. That means I probably missed out on something very important or beautiful. You don't say, eye contact. I was in a meeting the other day, and they did this beautiful exercise about the instruction made us do eye contact before we started the exercise. And he was trying to explain, that's how you're going to connect with that person. People don't do eye contact much these days. And I felt the warmth right away, and I feel connected, and I was ready to do the exercise. So in my case, I can with my daughter, I learned how to read her face, because she's extremely shy and introvert. I cannot get too many words out of her. So this is how I connect with her. So in a way, I sort of like life trained me for that. But some people have it, it's not natural. And I think it is natural on me, but I had to actually be more mindful, with my daughter. I know that if I wanted to connect with her and communicate with her, I need to learn how to read it. I need to just, feel connected, feel that energy. Some people, in my daughter's case, it's hard for her to have any facial expression. So I mostly feel her energy, and that could be true for all of us. Sometimes, words are just words, but if you make an effort to be present, close your eyes and just be present, you can feel people's energy. You can feel even your own energy where you are, and everything should start with yourself. It's how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so be mindful, be aware, learn to breathe, learn to just in silence and take care of your body and your soul so you can take care of the other people around you and create real connection. Yes, real connection. Um, like just talk to someone. Like you said, it's been proven that 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 this social life, real interaction is the number one thing that leads to a longer life, to a more meaningful and joyful life. It above diet, above exercise, above everything else, right? Because we're longing for that connection. And pick up the phone if you need to hear from someone. Pick up the phone if you need help. Never be afraid to, or I guess scared of looking, awkward if you're asking some questions that might be uncomfortable. Um, I feel that more and more people, just like you said, are very much disconnected. Uh, they spend time with the social interaction, which is never going to be the same.
Yes.
So for a woman, or in your understanding of life, and after all of your experiences, what does success mean to you?
For me, success is inner happening, inner happiness. When you're happy with yourself, who you are, and what is your purpose in life, that's happy. That is success. Yeah. Um, I I remember giving a speech just about 2 weeks ago, and I was saying, um, knowing you why rather than you what is what really it's important. So if you know why you're here, why uh you know why you are who you are, um so knowing what your purpose is. For me, my purpose, I'm being very clear about it, is to serve others. That brings me joy, Joanna, so much joy.
I know, but that's what I.
So that is my why. Knowing, having a clear idea of what your purpose is, and I know you understand that because you're all about purpose.
I am all about purpose. I am doing what I'm doing now, this show that will be a podcast soon, just to serve, just because I was given this calling and I had to listen. And I know that this message and all of the messages are contributing to the whole world in a very, very beneficial way and very authentic way. So I'm just very happy that I can do it. I'm happy that life, my journey, my destiny is allowing me to do this without having an agenda, right? Without being scared that what I say is going to be misinterpreted. And I feel that that's also a big contributor to many people's lives and many women's
It
challenge.
is. Yeah.
Afraid that they might be misunderstood, they might lose their jobs. And when you look at the big picture and the big scheme of things, um, you know maybe sometimes life is giving you certain signals that you need to read. And if that's the case, and some people are judging you and you're going to lose that job, there's always going to be other options. There's always going to be, yes, and just learn from your mistakes, learn from other people.
I always think that there's when something happens, it's because there's something better there for you. Just waiting.
Something better.
Yeah. So just embrace it, whatever it is. It's not a loss. Yeah.
Embrace it if you can. I think another challenge for a lot of people is that fear of the new. It's a fear, a consistent fear of the change. What if it's not gonna be better? What if I'm going to, like you said, you divorce? What if I'm gonna divorce and I'm not gonna find someone else? What if nobody's marry me because I don't know, I have 3 children and I am in the situation they're not going to want to take on all of that luggage. There are so many things, and unfortunately some women don't allow themselves to experience new things and to be really happy and genuine and authentic. And that's the goal here. That's my purpose, to allow them to feel who they are, to empower them to just, have a good day every day, if possible.
And you do it so beautiful, Yoana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, I just started doing this yesterday, but I have, do you have a quote or a saying, anything that you would really like to end this for all of our listeners?
I like a beautiful quote by Buddha. And basically, it's about compassion. The Buddha said that if whatever you do, the first thing you have to do is having compassion for yourself. If whatever you do doesn't include compassion for yourself, it's not compassion. Basically, his message is you're not able to be compassionate to others unless you learn to be compassionate for yourself. So be kind to yourself. And it just flows. It's gonna be much easier. You'll see that then feeling compassion for others actually becomes much easier. So yeah, just be kind to yourself. That is my my mantra. And you just described something and you said it with you're gonna every day we're gonna find a challenge, that something that is gonna make you feel with doubts and all that. Just be kind to yourself, and be kind to yourself. Yeah.
Today, I have some a really cool quote, and that's why I said that I started doing this yesterday, where I have notes that I take, and this is written by Alan Cohen, and it says, "Do not wait until the conditions are perfect to begin. Beginning makes the conditions perfect."
Oh my God, that is so beautiful. I love it.
Beautiful, because I'm not planning it based on any of the interviews. I'm planning it. I'm setting, like you said, the expectation day for every interview. I think about something before I start, and it's right there, and I write it down, and there you go.
You see? Yeah.
So much for being here. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, Yoana. Yeah.
All of you that are watching, please ask Yocasta any questions. I'm going to put her information there. If you're a caregiver and you're in need of help, if you're in need of coaching, life coaching, a caregiver coach, ask. You have so many choices that you might not have had 3 years ago, but we are all here to help you go from A to Z in a beautiful way and in a way that is aligned with your soul. So thank you so much again for being here.
My pleasure, Yoana. And if you allow me, I wanted to show this people. This is the copy of my book. It's on Amazon, and it's called Breathe in English and Respira in Spanish, and it's on Amazon. It's been an honor to be your guest, Yoana. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I can't wait for this episode to air. Please share with all of your friends, with all of your family and colleagues, so they can listen to Yocasta Bianconi's beautiful story.
Bye-bye.